One classic behavior of a fault finder is moving the goalposts. Just when you think you've met the expectations, they change the criteria. Suddenly, what was acceptable yesterday is not good enough today. Today, we're talking about a particular personality type, the fault finder.
Manners on the go.
Hello again and welcome to Manners on the Go. Today we're talking about a particular personality type that many of us have had the pleasure of working with, the fault finder. Yep, you know the one. No matter how hard you work or how well you perform, this person will always find something wrong. It's like their mission in life is to point out what's not working. So what exactly is a fault finder? On the surface, it might seem like they're just perfectionists or that they have high standards, but there's actually more going on beneath the surface. Fault finders are often driven by insecurity. They feel a need to control everything because deep down, they're worried about their own competence. By criticizing others, they create the illusion that they're the ones in control, the ones who have all the answers. Now, don't get me wrong. Constructive criticism is incredibly valuable. We all need feedback to grow, right? But the fault finder isn't interested in helping anyone grow. Their criticism isn't about improvement. It's about tearing others down to build themselves up. And that's what makes working with a fault finder so exhausting. One classic behavior of a fault finder is moving the goalposts. You know what I mean. Just when you think you've met the expectations, they change the criteria. Suddenly, what was acceptable yesterday is not good enough today. And then there's the constant avoidance of praise. Even when you've done something well, the fault finder will never give you credit. They'll always focus on the one tiny thing that could have been done better. It's like they go out of their way to find a flaw, no matter how insignificant. Another tactic they use is setting people up for failure. This might mean giving vague instructions, and when the task isn't completed the way they expected, they pounce on it. Or maybe they'll change their mind halfway through a project but never communicate it, just so they can say, "See, you didn't do it right." It's manipulative and creates a lot of unnecessary stress. So, if you've ever worked with a fault finder, you already know how frustrating this can be. It's draining. You start to doubt yourself, and over time, it can even impact your confidence. But here is the good news. You can handle it. There are strategies you can use to protect yourself and manage this behavior without letting it get to you. The first key is to stay detached. I know, easier said than done, but it's important not to take their constant criticism personally. Remember, this isn't about your work. It's about their need to feel in control. The more emotionally involved you get, the more power you give them over your confidence and productivity. Another great strategy is paraphrasing. When the fault finder gives you vague or unclear feedback, repeat what they've said in your own words to make sure you understand it. For example, so what you're asking is that we prioritize X instead of Y. Is that correct? This forces them to be clear, takes away their ability to change the goalposts later. And here is something that works wonders. Get things in writing. If you've ever been set up for failure because of unclear expectations, this will be a game changer. After a conversation with a fault finder, a follow-up email summarizing what was discussed and agreed upon. This way, if they try to backtrack later, you've got documentation to keep them accountable. At the end of the day, dealing with a fault finder can be tough. But by staying detached, seeking clarity, and documenting everything, you can protect yourself from their negative impact. Remember, you have the power to control how much influence they have over your work and your mindset. Have you ever worked with a fault finder? How did you deal with it? I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments below, so we can all learn from each other. Let's keep the conversation going. And in our next video, we'll be discussing two opposite but equally disruptive behaviors in the workplace: the clams and the chatterers. One never speaks, the other never stops. So how do we strike a balance in communication? We'll dive into that next time, right here on Manners on the Go. Until then, keep those manners sharp and your confidence even sharper. I'm Tosin Babasaya Craig, and this is Manners on the Go. See you again. Goodbye.
Manners on the go.